Viva la Mexico. Wow. Did you hear about what's going on in Mexico right now and what's been going on the past few days? Like, this is really big. Tens of thousands of protesters have taken to the streets, and they're not happy. They want change, like big change. And it reminds me a bit of some of the protests that have taken place in like Iran back in 2008, 2009-ish, the Green Revolution, amongst others. But check this out. Like, we've got a lot of news to look at here. So thank you very much for being here with me. I hope you're having a fantastic evening. Let me get the screen pulled up here. So, wow. Mexico is going through a lot. I love Mexico. I used to live in San Antonio, and, the people, the culture, the food, the megalithic structures, the beauty. It's an amazing country with amazing culture, and they're dealing with a lot right now. I don't know if you knew this, but we'll get to it in a minute. So where should I start here? Well, not there. Stand by. I had it all ready to go. Okay. Thousands of people across Mexico right now in urban centers in several states took to the streets on the 15th of November under the banner of a youth-oriented movement, which is dubbed Gen Z or Generation Z. Now, this Generation Z, Mexico is taking to the streets amongst other people, and the immediate trigger was the assassination of Carlos Manzo, who is the mayor of Uruapan, Michoacán, during a public event earlier this month. Public outcry over his murder helped galvanize the protests. And the protests are not just about this one event. Demonstrators are voicing frustration with high levels of violence, including drug cartel violence, corruption, impunity, perceived failure of government to guarantee security and justice. While many marches began peacefully in some key places, especially in Mexico City, there were clashes. Protesters tore down barriers at the presidential palace area. Some hurled rocks and fireworks and sticks. Police were firing tear gas. About 100 police officers were reportedly injured. The government, particularly the capital's authorities, are responding. Investigations into police conduct have been launched, detentions have been made, and the movement is being scrutinized for links to other political actors. Whoa. Yeah. So what's also interesting about this is there is this like 12-step manifesto, basically. I mean, you can refer to it as other things, but there's 12 essentially key positions that these Gen Z protesters and others are hoping to achieve. And I'm going to go over that with you in a minute. But the assassination of Carlos Manzo during a public Day of the Dead event triggered the initial outrage. In Uruapan and other Michoacán municipalities, marchers and protests began. According to one source, protesters stormed the state government palace, and between 70 and 80,000 people marched in Uruapan, according to some local accounts, demanding justice. State officials responded. The attack on Manzo led the federal government to announce additional troops and investment in Michoacán. And then the protests start November 15th, and there's other protests on the horizon. It looks like for November 20th, the nationwide Gen Z protest day with major turnout in Mexico City. According to the timeline on Wikipedia, about 17,000 people in Mexico City were a part of the protests. The march route from Angel de la Independencia down Paseo de la Reforma to the Zocalo, then confrontations outside the Palacio Nacional, so the National Palace. Clashes, police report about 100 officers were injured, 40 hospitalized in Mexico City alone. And it looks like there's about 56 different cities that have taken part in these protests. Several protesters were also injured, although I don't have a number on that right now. The protests spread to 56 different cities, according to one Spanish language summary. from Tijuana to Oaxaca, Jalisco, and several other locations in states like Jalisco, Guadalajara. There were arrests, 44 in one report, tied to protests and violence. In Michoacán, beyond Uruapan, municipalities also are dealing with protests. And after the week of November 15th, the city of Mexico announced an investigation into police conduct, audits of policing during the march, suspensions of officers. So it looks like they're at least window dressing some complaints. But I wanted to show you, like, I did a deep search on this, and let me see if I can pull this up right here. Hello, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for being here. Shondell, great to see you. Angela, great to see you. How are you? And Dustin, Kim, Pistol Pete, Raven Wolf channel, right on. Pistol Pete, I used to work with the guy named Pistol Pete in San Antonio. What a coincidence. It's a small world. I wonder if that's you, buddy. How you been, man? So check this out. This is a one-piece pirate flag, a part of the social media movement that is protesting this Gen Z protest. And the youth on Twitter, X, and Instagram were sharing enough with, this is what they're saying. So enough with all this crime. Carlos didn't. Then it goes on to say the government killed him, quoted in some media reports. Some commentary highlights skepticism among older observers that the movement truly represents youth. One article noted draws few young people and many government critics in one city. There's also reports of the government accusing the movement of infiltration by bots and political actors. This in turn is part of the social media conversation, who really controls or funds the movement. And these are some of the different hashtags that have been used in the social media, as you can see right here. Where is this? Yeah, so this is the 12-point manifesto. This is what I wanted to go over with you guys and gals. The 12-point Generation Z Mexico manifesto starts like this: citizen-driven recall of the president. A mechanism so citizens themselves, not parties, can trigger an immediate recall vote on the head of state, separate from normal elections. Number 2, direct election of any replacement. If the president is recalled, the replacement must be chosen in a special nationwide vote, not handpicked by parties or Congress. Number 3, no party meddling in that process. Political parties, legislative blocs, and the executive would be banned from intervening in candidate selection for that replacement election. And then number 4, ban vote buying with welfare programs. Social programs, scholarships, and subsidies must not be used to coerce or buy votes. Doing so should be punished harshly. I mean, this seems extreme to me too. Like, I don't think this, I mean, anyway, I'm just going to read what the manifesto is. I'm not going to give you my opinions. I will save that for a moment. Uno momento, señor, señorita, señora. Híjole. Citizen transparency authority, a new citizen-run transparency, both with power to force all 3 levels of government to clearly publish spending, contracts, budgets, and key decisions. Independent audit authority. Number 6, a fully autonomous audit body able to scrutinize state institutions, public companies, and social programs without restrictions. Number 7, deep reform of the justice system. A citizen justice council to redesign the justice system, ensuring independence, professionalism, and real access to justice for ordinary people. Number 8, fairer representation in Congress. The same council would propose a new model for congressional representation, fewer privileges, and guaranteed voice for regions, indigenous peoples, and youth. Demilitarize internal security. Public security should be run and overseen by professional civilian authorities, subject to constant audits, not the military. Strengthen local municipal security. Number 10, increase municipal security budgets and prevent the federal government from using those funds as political carrots and sticks. Number 11, moral authority voices in councils. Councils may invite respected figures with strong ethical reputations to participate in deliberations, but they cannot be turned into paid posts or power positions. public consultation to expand to 15 demands. The manifesto can grow from 12 up to 15 points, but only through open public consultations. The big picture, it's system change stuff, recall, departized replacement, anti-corruption architecture, demilitarization, and youth grassroots oversight baked into the state. So there you go. Now, as far as the protests go, these are where the biggest protests have taken place. There's like 56 different locations, according to certain articles. But Uruapan, Michoacán, massive marches demanding security and justice after Mayor Carlos Manzo's assassination. The estimated turnout, local authorities say between 70 and 80,000 people. Wow. Symbolically led by Manzo's grandmother, calls to suspend government and business activity for the day. Now we've also got Morelia, Michoacán. 3,000 people marched after the killing, chanting things like justice for Manzo and Morena out. Protesters later stormed the state government palace. Whoa, it's a pretty big deal, isn't it? Molotovs, damage inside the building, tear gas, 8 arrests. Mexico City, the Generation Z March. 17,000 people were in the march. And then started at the Angel de la Independencia, and it ended at the Palacio Nacional. 120 injured, 100 police, 20 civilians. Interesting, 100 police and 20 civilians. That's an interesting. Usually it would be the opposite. But wow, interesting. 19 to 20 detained, fences at the National Palace torn down, tear gas used. Then we've got Guadalajara, Jalisco. You know what? English isn't even my first language, so I apologize if I'm getting some of the names wrong and some of the provinces and cities. And yeah, I know. So yeah, let's get back to this. Protests at the state government palace, attempts to set doors on fire, heavy damage reported, 47 arrests, 13 injured in that city alone. Media described the crowd as thousands, but no precise official turnout. Then we've got Puebla. March ended in confrontations outside Casa Aguayo, which is the state government site. Local press and the Supreme Court condemned vandalism against institutions. Then the Supreme Court in CDMX. The SCJN publicly denounced damage to its facilities during the march, turning that building into a symbolic target in the narrative. This has spread to at least 56 cities. And then there's a second nationwide Gen Z march already being called for the 20th of November. Same time, same gathering points, according to this, with organizers saying they will replicate the route in the more than 50 cities that participated in the first time. And that's El Universo. Now, this is what they're saying, the movement. We're not left or right. We are the generation sick of bowing our heads. Youth fed up with corruption, violence, and impunity. The assassination of Carlos Manzo is treated as the breaking point. He didn't just die. The government killed him is a recurring slogan. Wikipedia is one source that references that. Hashtags and symbols. Widely used tags on X, Instagram, and Facebook include Generation Z, and you can see these right here. So, all right, that's not good. What else we got here? Check this out. This is wild. Did you know this? I got something else for you. During Mexico's 2024 election cycle, at least 37 candidates seeking office were assassinated, according to a report from the Wilson Center. The violence is largely attributed to organized crime groups and gangs vying for control of local governments and increasing their power. The violence also targeted political figures and their family members. with over 828 non-lethal attacks recorded against individuals seeking office during the same period. Whoa. Whoa. The violence is often linked to organized crime groups and gangs, with the New York Times investigation finding links to organized crime in at least 28 of the 36 candidates killed, as reported by the New York Times. Beyond assassinations, the election cycle saw over 828 non-lethal attacks against candidates, and at least 14 relatives of candidates were also killed. The government has reported and responded by increasing security, coordinating with federal forces, and deploying state and municipal police, but challenges remain due to a lack of resources and other factors. Gosh, you thought politics were scary in the States. It's even scarier in Mexico. Wow, it's like the Wild West. That is frightening. So anyway, be prepared, not scared. Just wanted to share the latest news with you, and hope you're doing well. Hit the subscribe button. Check back daily for new notifications. Check us out on Patreon. Remember the discount at Boomer Boost, boomerboost.com. Use the code REX20. There's a sale going on right now. Get the Gladiator Barley and the Boomer Boost. You'll thank me later. Take the 30-day challenge. Use that code REX20 for a 20% discount. Set up auto ship. You can stack the discounts. If you're on Rumble, thank you for watching us on Rumble. Make sure you subscribe to our Rumble channel as well, if you would, please. Hey, bro, thanks for being here. So that's so funny. Pistol Pete is actually watching from Rumble. Pistol Pete, I literally used to work with a guy named Pete in downtown San Antonio for like 3 years. He was like my little brother. We were so competitive, and he's a good dude. I haven't talked to him in a while, so that's cool that you're joining the chat right now, and much appreciated. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Jamma. Thanks, Angela. Thanks. It is Irish, Dustin, Sean, everybody, Raven Wolf, Shondell, DC. Be the change you want to see.